This has to be one of the most metal things you could ask for in an isekai, while simultaneously just being peak brutality. This episode was brilliant, but the fact that you have Peacemaker go from, hey, I'ma blend in with the elves, takes his shirt off, throws on the wig, he's looking like he could fit in with, like, Tsukasa or some of the other Dr. Stone characters. Peak comedy, brilliant. To then, I'ma torture this elf to death. And there's no, like, ambiguous, like, oh, you don't really know exactly what he does. They do this cutaway and you just hear a scream. So you can imply, no, like, he goes in. And when you see the finished product of this poor bastard, like, that was just isekai torture, man. Like, that's what it was. And then the fact that you can have all that brutality and you top it off with Clayface being turned into an isekai sword. I didn't think Clayface was going to do anything this episode, like, other than what happened up to that point, because he was melting in the water. Harley's going up against this girl, loses her bat. I mean, I'm thinking, okay, where's the frying pan, where's our bat, let's just do something, and he turns into the most majestic looking Final Fantasy sword possible, and just to see that, like, the animation, the production, the excitement, and the fact that they're continuously using flashbacks, and it's mainly focused on Harley and Joker's relationship, both on terms of, like, you know, okay, this is how we broke into a bank, so how are we going to use that reference as how we're going to do it in present day? Well, we find the locksmith, you know, like the person who has the lock and the key to the lock, whatever you want to say. And just top to bottom, this episode, like, what I've been saying since episode 5 is that it feels like the second half of this show feels like it struck that balance of isekai meets DC, and it just has me more and more excited, though it has me more and more convinced this is going to be more than a 10-episode anime, but I guess time will tell. Of course, I do a full live reactions over on Patreon. If you want to see my full and good thought to any of these episodes, it's going to be over there exclusively. So, last episode, Harley got baited quite hard that everyone around her got killed, only for them to pop back up and say, gotcha. And in this episode, they just, from like the first couple of minutes, the attention to detail was noticeable. Clayface, Harley, like all these characters having these sharp reactions. Hell, look at the very end of the episode with that queen. She has a mental breakdown. Princess is thinking, yeah, you know, look at our, you know, we set them free. They're doing exactly what we need to stop the wars. And she's just like, go kill them. Now, there's a lot of questions I have about this woman and why she's like this. I definitely don't think she wants the war to stop. Is she being mind controlled? Like, there is a lot of characters in this show that have been mind controlled. The entirety of the goddamn elven population pretty much were. So someone pulling the strings and controlling her to do bad things is definitely on the table, or it could just be that she's toxic and just wants it to continue because it will keep more power and money in her hands. It's entirely possible. But either way, at this point, I think one of the biggest death flags is actually on the princess's right-hand man. Cecil, or whatever his name is, the one who's been with her since she was a child. Because here's the thing, I doubt the mom would ever kill the daughter. Yeah, I mean, she might lock her up in prison or call her a disgrace, and she might even beat her ass, but I doubt she's going to kill her. However, if it's discovered that her daughter and this man let the prisoners free, killing him is definitely on the table, and I could see how that could be a heartbreak moment for her, but time will tell. But they just did such a good job at both blending the kind of isekai fantasy element and the DC-ness of these characters. So just the casual plan that they end up making, right? So it's like, okay, we got to get in here, but there's all these different things. And, you know, you start the episode off once again with Harley thinking back to Joker and her romantic relationship. And the idea that, you know, for Joker, it's like, if there's something that's never been broken into, I'm going to do it. And for this bank, how did they end up doing it? They found the person with the key. It doesn't matter about how you get into the safe. It's just about having the end result. And it's pretty similar to what they end up doing here. Though, the plan of just kind of like tossing this poor bastard, he has to run away, then the sniper shot, and it just all kind of spirals into this big chaos. And the fact that there's so many like little fight scenes throughout this episode that could easily be like the star attraction if you need it to be, yet it just continues and continues. I was convinced that when Harley was about to duel this woman that we were going to get it next week. Because for me, I wasn't looking at the runtime initially, and I was like, they've showed me so much crazy animation and fights. I mean, they'll save this for next episode, and then we still had 5 minutes to go. And hell, they let the credits play as more stuff. Like, they're not wasting their time. There definitely is a way for this show to end in 3 more episodes, but the more I see, the more I feel like this is planned to be like a split core or something like that. Now, the production for the show was finished before broadcasting started, so if they were, you know, going to drop a surprise announcement, it wouldn't be surprising to me, but at the same time, part of me also is like, man, if this is just a short, sweet, to the point 10-episode show, I could really respect that as well. Like, it's not for everyone, I get that, nothing ever will be, but at the end of the day, this is a show that, like, I feel like if I was an author, like the ReZero author, and I'm making, like, my big popular series, and I get the opportunity to make a Spider-Man comic, like, for me, like, that would be my dream job. Like, just to be able to make a Spider-Man short story, because that's my favorite superhero. Yeah, I'd absolutely pick it up. It's not a cash grab. Like, the ReZero author is, like, constantly, whether it's Vivi and all these other stuff, like, it's not just a simple job just because. It's clearly like, oh, I like the idea of the characters and I want to take my own spin on an isekai. Like, it fits, it works, it's different, it's weird, but it's like, I don't know, it's like, it's kind of weird when I see people act like it's still like they're shocked that it's not the most complex story, or it's like it's a superhero story. Like, do you think you're gonna be able to get an Infinity War, like, endgame level story in 10 episodes? Like, it's a comic book story that has a shorter runtime. It happens dozens and dozens of times per year. They're not all the best, but this show's production, I'm still seeing people, like, pick apart, like, the smallest, like, 30 seconds of mediocre animation, yet we had 24 minutes or so almost non-stop banger, Harley bouncing around like she's Sonic the Hedgehog, bouncing, ricocheting off these walls, and it's freaking fantastic. And it's just all the little moments, the little details, like them at the end, you know, with Artie bursting down with the flames and just cheering it on, or the fact that Clayface, like, literally has his life flash before his eyes because Shark is just, like, wide, like, looking like he's gonna bite off his head, but really he's just salty because he wants the binoculars, and as we then learn later, he thinks he tastes like ass, so he'll never eat Clayface anyway. It's just all those little moments, they feel like a cast of Suicide Squad just twisted in a new way because it's a different author. I do see some people say, oh, it's a betrayal of characters, they shouldn't act like that, but absolutely, take your own spin on it, make it feel different, because if every character acted the same, then every person who makes stories based around these characters would just feel like a copy and paste of what came before. And if we're gonna throw these bitches into an isekai setting, you best believe I want it to feel as different and unique as possible. And we're 7 out of 10 in, and I'm freaking loving this show still. Shoot me. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode, though, down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're around here, of course, ring that bell, and like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Void, Subject 3, Rolia, Sarnik, Missing No Leader, Jade, and we also have K-Talk. So I appreciate the support, everyone, and please take care, and y'all have a good one.